Hello and welcome to the Love Lounge podcast, your source for insight and inspiration on how to love yourself and others better. I'm your favorite bishop, Bishop Gill.
I am Coach Shinita, your certified master's expert.
And I am Coach Albee, your certified professional life coach. We are excited to have you join us for another amazing show.
Yes, we are. And as you enjoy, be sure to like, comment, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can catch our show on Spotify now, too. Go to Spotify, the Love Lounge _PDC.
Now, sit back and relax.
It's time to start the show.
The views and opinions provided by the host and guests are for educational purposes only. Information and ideas are shared in good faith based on their own personal and professional experiences. Always seek a physician or health provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Hello and welcome back to the Love Lounge. Y'all, welcome back to the couch. We're so happy to have you back. We have another amazing episode for you this week with another amazing topic. But before we get to that, y'all know we got to talk to our hosts. We got to talk to our ladies first. Coach Shinita, what's going on with you?
Hello, everything is everything. Come on in, y'all. Let's do this.
Everything is everything, she said. And y'all know we got Coach Albee in the house. Coach Albee, what you talking about today?
What it do, man? What it do? Good to see both of you all looking amazing as always.
Absolutely. But listen, y'all, we have an amazing topic today. We're talking about overcoming church hurt. Overcoming church hurt. Church hurt refers to emotional, spiritual, or relational pain caused by negative experiences within a church or faith community. It happens when someone is wounded by actions, words, leadership, culture, or systems within a church that were expected to be a safe and supportive. Church hurt comes from situations such as judgment, condemnation, spiritual abuse, manipulation by leaders, double standards, betrayal of trust, exclusion, gossip, and mishandled conflicts. Listen, y'all, we're talking about church hurt. Now, panel, y'all want to talk about this? Let's talk about it. Have any of y'all ever had any experiences like this? Coach Anita, talk about it.
We can talk all week, month about quote unquote church hurt. Me myself, I don't say church hurt. I just say people. It's just people and their character. However, a lot of people say they deal with church hurt. So let's talk about it from the female perspective. Y'all give us hell in church. Y'all give us hell. Y'all give us
Just gonna
hell.
put it out there, Coach.
Yeah. Y'all just treat us like we are nothing. I can only speak from the denomination I came from. I was raised in, I should say. So the women at our church, so many rules, so many rules. Um, can't let's see, we can't cut our hair, can't wear makeup, can't wear jewelry. We were told to be silent. And I would never forget when I was little. I was always a thinker. So in our church doing business meeting nights, typically on like one Wednesday out the month or something like that. Anyway, they'll have a business meeting. Okay. So at the business meeting, the men was sat on the far right side. And all the women sat on the left side. And we had to be completely silent through the whole meeting. As a child, I did not understand that. I'm like, so like the women were whispering to each other, like, but I'm like, well, in my head, I'm like, well, why can't you just stand up, raise your hand? Like we in school, like raise your hand, say something. But it's like forbidden. I remember like my parents would go home and then they would talk about it. But I'm like, but why couldn't mama say something at the meeting? But, it just wasn't allowed. Women are expected to be silent because the men are the leaders. And one thing I can really relate is I was an unwed mother, a young unwed mother. And on top of that, I was a PK. So remember that. So that's a double whammy. It's like, ugh. So I remember because I used to sing in the praise team. And there was rumors going around that I should sit down. So I remember thinking to myself, again, I'm the only one that was told to sit down. However, the father of the child, he was a musician and, he did things in the church also, but I was the one that, they wanted to sit down. And then I began to think back then, that's when I was really done with the church. I started thinking back then, okay, so at what point, okay, you say that sex outside of marriage is a sin. That's what you say. So at what point, because a child is a blessing, a child is God given, right?
Yes.
So
Right.
at what point did it go from a curse to a blessing? Was it day 2, day 3? What point, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
God gave me this baby. You want me to sit down. So, and if I ask God for forgiveness for this sin, you see my quotes I'm putting up here. I ask God for forgiveness for this sin. So at what point
Mm-hmm.
do you let me, like, does God have to ask you to forgive? Like, how does that how does that work? Like, if I ask God and he forgive me, but you said I can't be forgiven, but you don't want me to get rid of the baby because that's a sin,
It's
That's
a
a sin
sin.
too. Right.
but I keep the baby and I'm still.
What we doing? What we doing?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, at what point during that journey, that 9-month journey, does it become, do I become okay again? So but yeah, so that's just a little bit of what women go through and things that, I've experienced myself. And it just makes you feel unseen,
Yeah.
shameful, hurt, discouraged. Sometimes you just get in this dumb state, like, am I dumb? Like, am I just not smart enough? Do I not understand like a man? Like, all those thoughts go through your head. So that's my bit.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
my
and I
bit.
think it's crazy, Coach Shanita. It takes me back to an experience that I had some years ago with the church that I was fellowshipping with. And this pastor, he was kind of in that mindset where he would make the females of the church get up and apologize. The men was never brought before. But this was the kicker, Coach Albee. And I'm not talking about anybody's weight, because I used to be big and all that kind of stuff. I lost a little weight and all those types of things. But my thing is, this guy was so large that he didn't sit in a regular chair. He had to sit in a, like, love couch on the pulpit. He was so large. So at what point do we put him in front of the church to apologize for glutton? Like, at what point do we make him
That
repent? And everybody else, that's having even thoughts in their mind, at what point do we bring them in front of the church? So I totally agree with you, Coach Anita. I totally, because it don't make sense.
eh,
That's how it is. Now listen, Coach Albert, you gotta come help us. You gotta come help us, because we know how they come for the gay community. Come on. Come
I
on.
mean, yeah, I think, church hurt is not just about the bad players that caused the hurt. I think it's also, Coach Shanita was saying, I think it's a lot of the stale, outdated ideas about who people are and how they should exist in the world. I think there's a lot of false, denied standards of holiness, which make one aesthetic okay and acceptable, and another one worldly or wrong. I think it is a lot of the man-made rules that change from church to church, organization to organization.
or
Because in
year
the
to year.
Baptist, yeah, because in the Baptist church, that was not something that I ever saw, women being brought to the front of the church. Well, I did one church. It was one Baptist church I did see that happen too, but others, it wasn't the case. So it's like the rules change from church to church. And I think it's also those personal, oftentimes misguided interpretations, Bishop, of text, of old, redacted, reworded text that are used to dictate how everyone else should live their lives, which creates like this air of arrogance that feeds all of these judgmental attitudes. And you're right, as someone who has been in the church, I can honestly say I've been on both sides of this discussion. I've been the person who has perpetuated these ideas and feelings, and I deeply regret it.
Yes.
Not just for teaching or preaching these harmful ideas or messages, but I was the one holding up the system that continues to divide and demean and demoralize people in the name of God even today. And I
Yes.
think as a member of the LGBTQ community, and as someone who mentors people in the LGBTQ community, the church hurt goes deep.
Mm.
I mean, it's the words, it's the beliefs that make people feel less than. I know what it's like personally to have my love and my life equivocated to a sin or to an abomination or a choice that I am erroneously making. I know what it's like to be ostracized. I know what it's like to be ridiculed, talked about by church folk, you know? And
Hmm.
church was my home, my family. This was my source of acceptance and love, but I was getting the very opposite. And like you alluded to, Bishop, the funny thing about that is the church leaders who were disowning, rejecting me and rejecting me, these guys were having extramarital affairs. These dudes were sliding in my inbox. These dudes were messing with young girls and grooming young boys, beating the
Mm,
kids and enjoying freak offs in the church, not outside,
not the church.
in the church. These conferences and conventions, there was some stuff going on. And so I don't think the gays are alone here. Anyone who believes or looks differently is subject to church hurt. I think the system is designed to make cookie cutter molds out of everybody. And if you deviate from that, it's a problem. You know, and we all saw this in the media not too long ago, the beautiful sister with the banging shape and a beautiful gown, or the brother who's comfortable wearing Timbs and jeans to church. They're asked to conform to the church look. You know, if you
Right.
smoke weed to calm your nerves, or if y'all living together unmarried to save money, or if you love to drink a little brown every now and again, oh no, you're wrong and you're going to hell. And God forbid, don't ever be too ambitious. Don't have no dreams of your own, right? Because there's only one
Right.
vision in the house. And
One.
I need you to stay here in the box that I put you in so you can prop up my vision. Your dreams, your goals, your personal
Don't
ministry, your
matter.
purpose, none of that matters unless it's helping me to look good. And don't be a critical thinker. Don't be don't be an intellectual. No, you don't question things because that's pushing back against God. And now you're in dangerous territory. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these leaders want you to stay limited to where their growth is and their level of understanding, because they're the pastor, they're the leader, they're the
Mhm.
bishop, the prophet, etc. And they know it all. And I think these are just some of the harmful mentalities that people who are just really trying to connect with God are subjected to. Constantly being called out, and we've seen this in church, constantly called out by pulpit bullies, targeted in prayer lines, publicly humiliated by these small minded, lying, hateful, jealous, controlling, narcissistic leaders who sit back in these fancy chairs like they don't stink. You know, and they never get called out. Bishop, like you were saying about gluttony, they don't ever get called out because the
Mhm.
whole system is about protecting and covering leadership. You don't
Right.
call
Mhm.
them to the carpet. Their
Mhm.
misgivings get to stay hidden in the name of respect and honor for leadership. I think the entire system of church and the structure of church is harmful. And I think it always has been, if we really think about it. Think of, think back to the Crusades, right? The killing of innocent people in foreign lands, the justification for slavery, the protection of predators in the priesthood, the scaring of people into serving God with fear, hell, and brimstone, condemning their addictions and human frailties. I think it's just been really a hurtful experience for a lot of people. And I think, to be honest with you, perhaps nobody has suffered more under this system than Black people. Than Black
Yeah.
Mhm.
people. Think about it. We go broke to get expensive shoes and suits so we can look important and fit in, right? As if God needed those things for us to serve others or to worship. We give our last dollar, y'all, to support buildings that are still not built yet. Meanwhile, our lights are getting turned off. No money to be buried in, no money to pass down to our families, no businesses started or dreams invested in, while the leaders get richer, demanding to see our tax returns or asking, you to go in debt to sow a seed into the to the ministry. We just saw that in the news, I think, last week. And I
Uh-huh.
think we as a people have given our time and energy and talents in serving these leaders and serving the system. Meanwhile, our own families are suffering.
Mhm.
Our mental health suffers. Our physical health is suffering. Some of the biggest,
Mhm.
unhealthiest bodies are in the Black churches because a lot of us
Bishop.
turn to food to cope with so many restrictions on our joy, right?
Mhm.
And I think too, if you think about the songs that we even sing, how they perpetuate struggle and how they reinforce this negative self-image. climbing up the rough side of the mountain. Why I gotta be the rough side? Why?
God told
Hold
me to
on.
move it.
Right.
Move the mountain. Why are we
I
climbing
never
it?
understood that part. Lord, you don't have to move my mountain, but give me strength to climb. Hold on. Why I'm
No.
asking for extra work when he said I can move it?
Speak to the mountain and it shall move. That's what I mean. That's what, but no, but we're taught you got to climb it. This is going to be rough and it's going to always be rough. And then the message is like, I'm a wretch undone. I'm only human, those kind of things. Or even, and I used to love this hymn at the cross. Would he devote that sacred head for such a worm as I? The idea that I am I'm
Mm,
so
mm,
worthless that
mm.
I am a worm. Like this is what we sing. And even check this out, even how we're told to look for our pie in the sky. Meanwhile, everyone else is enjoying heaven on earth, building residual wealth for their generations off of our blood, sweat, and tears, investing, starting corporations, they're buying properties, owning land, and taking over government jobs to keep themselves rich. Meanwhile, we as a people are stuck in the matrix. We shouting and we're speaking in tongues and we falling out, ripping and running, but we're going home depressed, miserable, character out of life completely out of whack because we invest more time in having church than we do being the church.
That's
We
true.
put
That
more
is so true.
emphasis on performing and faking and dressing up and wearing these masks than we do changing. Hearing God speak, turning within, moving in a different direction, cleaning up our own junk, thinking higher, and showing up differently in the world. And finally, I'll say this. I think, this is my personal opinion, a system designed to keep us too busy, too emotional, too tired, too ignorant, too down on ourselves, too caught up in pretending like we got it all together will always be a source for irrefutable hurt.
Mhm. Mm. I
And
like
what
that.
we
I
do with
like that. I like that. Amazing. And
yeah,
not only that, Coach Albee, the thing about it is and I'll say I've seen in most of the black church, because that's most of the church that I've served in the black church, especially Baptist, Pentecostal,
yeah,
Southern
of
type churches, I will see them come against the homosexual community when a lot of the services are provided by the homosexual community
course.
surrounding that church. Now, I'm not saying that it's limited to it. So please, people, understand what I'm saying. But I'm saying things that I've encountered in
Yeah,
locations and movements that I have been a part of and seen. Most of the giving, most of the efforts, most of the music, most of the, designing of robes and things like that comes from the people of a community that is often bashed.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
And what does
So,
that do? And what does that do to our mentality as a people that we are giving of our very best to a system that doesn't even think that we should even exist, that we
mhm.
should even be happy? That we just gonna burn and go there. So I done served 70 years in this church, helping you, building this ministry, paying my tithes and offerings, giving, singing, building up the music ministry. And because I am gay, I die and I go to hell. And what does that do for my mental health? What does that do for how I
Absolutely.
see myself? I think the system is very damaging. It's a system that
Absolutely.
is very hurtful.
Well, and that's the thing about it, Coach Albee, being damaging mentally and mentally by leaders that are in place that do abuse their power or abuse the word of God, mishandling it, misinterpreting the word of God. And they do those things as for a mind control or control things.
Yeah.
And I saw that most of the time that the most dangerous thing within pastors and leaders is the fact of the matter that they don't have the answer and saying that they don't have the answer. And it has been a generational thing over and over and over again. You do as I say, not as I do, just do. Well, why? I don't have an answer. So I think because of that, we put fear and we put
Yes.
hell and we put fire behind it because I don't have an answer. But if I put enough fear behind it, you won't ask me, nor will you do it. But,
Yep.
I think it just kinda pushed people into a place like that, because we don't have the answers as to why am I dealing with that. And most of the time I say as a leader, I'll say, "Listen, I may not have the answer, let me go pray about it." And some things I'll say, "It's just not for me to know," you know? We try to know God fully, but we will truly never know God fully in all of his self. And using things like from the pulpit to bash, we've seen that time and time and time again on social media where people are called out their names. And excuse me, for anybody that may take offense to this, but I absolutely think that is absolutely sickening for someone to stand in the pulpit to call someone punks and faggots
Mhm.
and bull daggers and
Mhm.
all those types of things. I think it is absolutely sickening. I do believe that as leaders and as people of God, you can find another intellectual way of putting what you have to say. But anytime that you're bashing, I do not believe that it presents the love of God. So that's where we mishandle the gift that God has given us. We mishandle God's people. And something that I've often said to my family, because my family is a family of Levites, meaning that we have generational of pastors that has come down. And most of the time, and I was always the messed up one, Coach Al, because, I'd be like, well, why? Well, why do women can't wear pants?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Yeah.
Well, what's the difference? Like, so I'm that type of person. I need to know. I need to know. And like I said, mishandling tells the people, you don't need to know. Just listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. And it goes on and on and on. And what we do is we create a system of hurt,
Yes.
not safety, not
Right.
help, and definitely not love, but a system of hurt. So mishandling, judging, coming down because simply we don't have the answers and saying, okay, I'm just going to love you until I find the answer. But using those types of things. And I'm going to finish with this part right here because I'm the type of people say, well, you're a bishop, you're a pastor. And they say you strict and things like that. Listen, I'm the type, I don't know if y'all ever seen Harlem Nights, but y'all know on Harlem Nights when Vera was like, listen, I'm going to take you out back and I'm gonna whoop your butt. And she was like, and I don't want no hard feelings either. So I'm that type of preacher. Like if I have an issue with you and you've done something openly and I need to rebuke you openly, I'm gonna look at you like, listen, you did this openly. I talked to you about it. I'm finna do it right here. I don't want no hard feelings afterwards. And I will do that. And after I do that, I say, okay, now let's preach. I'm not gonna involve it in my sermon. I'm not gonna throw
Right.
shots at you. I'm gonna let you know who I'm talking to. And my thing about it is most things can be handled separately in a private setting. So that's when it becomes bullying when we do those things with the word of God. So I think
Right.
that's absolutely horrible.
But
Absolutely horrible.
Bishop, let me ask you something with regards to, I mean, I think you said something that was really profound that, you know, a lot of leaders who lack the intellectual capacity to answer questions will rely on fear and don't question God. Just don't question God
Yeah.
as the answer versus either themselves getting more information or, like you said, just saying, I don't know. I don't know the
Yeah.
answer to that. Let's pray together. If you hear from God and he gives you the answer or he gives you the answer, you tell me or vice versa. And I don't know why that is that we have a problem with being intellectual. Like the aspect of us that says use your brain to think through some of the things. Like there are people who don't believe that life existed before Genesis 1 and 1. And you cannot argue against that. That's where it started from them, Adam and Eve, and that's just the beginning. So I wonder, what needs to happen in order for that to change. Is it really a matter of leaders being dedicated to ongoing learning, or is it just the way it is and it's just the way it is?
The thing about it is, I absolutely, it can be kind of both answers, but for some people, it's the way it is, and that's just the way it is because my grandma said it, and my great grandma said it, and my great granny. So
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. But on
programming.
the other side of that, I think well, I wouldn't say easy fix, but the way to fix that is be honest. As leaders, just be honest. Because the truth of the matter is, if we come for, say, for instance, the homosexual community, and they come to us and ask us, why? Why do I feel like this? I don't know. I don't know. Well, did God create me like this? I don't know. I was not there. I wasn't, I didn't have anything like that. But my job is to love you. My
Yeah,
job is to encourage you. Because I think as leaders, what we fail to realize, there is a family member that's close to you. There is a sister, a brother, or whatever the case may be, that may having those same feelings. And one of the wise quotes that I always give out is, "Be careful what you judge, because you could be entertaining it in your very own house." So be
Mm,
very, very careful.
Man,
Yeah,
that's good.
very careful.
those are
That's
hard
good.
facts.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Alright, so y'all, we talked about different, hurts, and I'm quite sure there are a few more hurts that we could talk about. We could go on and on and on about different hurts, but we're gonna talk about some of the ways to start dealing with some of those hurts. So we're gonna give you some key aspects to overcoming church hurt. Y'all know who we're going with first. Come on, coach. Coach Shanita.
Help us out, coach.
All right. Number one, let's start with number one, making a clear distinction between God and the person who hurt you. Let's start here. Most, I'm not going to say most, I'm trying to get away from that word, but my experience is as we in church, we were not taught character, right?
That's
We were
good,
not
coach.
taught character.
That's good.
We were taught, as you said, Bishop Q, it's just the way they are. That's just mother. That's just Shirley. That's just it's no I mean, they expect that's just the expectation. They're gonna be who they're gonna be. They're not gonna change. Right? And so with that, we feel like God allows this hurt. God allows these people to hurt you. He's allowing these things to happen. So we kind of group God and that person who hurt you together. And then it goes into because we were taught that God was this mean and vengeful and horrible God. And so you're like,
Mhm.
God, get them, hurt them,
Right.
make them suffer.
Right.
And we forget I F up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But we don't say God get me. God, we don't say God change me.
Right.
Fix me, God.
Yeah.
God get them.
Mhm.
Fix them. Hurt them. So yeah, we have to make that distinction because it's all about character. God is trying to change the heart. We have to allow it. We have to allow the change.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we can't group God and that person together. What we can do is, as Q said, go to that person
Mhm.
and say, what's the scripture if I have an art with my brother?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Y'all know the
Go
yeah,
to
go
scripture.
him.
to them.
Go
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
yeah.
him.
You can go to him. I did that because I was holding on to something, and like every time I saw that person, it just
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and then I started visualizing the things that I could do and how I could. Yeah, let me. That's not. We're
Right.
not gonna
Right.
go to
Right.
that dark place, but look, so wait a minute. You was marinating.
Yeah.
But yes, I started thinking like the things, the things I could do and say. But I was like, I don't want to keep holding this. I don't want to keep holding this. And God began to talk to me. It's like, you don't have to go to her and you're gonna have to forgive her. And I'm like, do what? Because I ain't do nothing. So why am I forgiving this person? But I did. I went to her, but I did have to include, look, I know what you said, I know when you said it, and I know who you said it to. However, I forgive you. I forgive you. And I did it for me. And after I said it out of my mouth, there was just this, like, it was a lightness. It was just everything that was gone. It was
A weight
gone.
was lifted. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, she stood there and just, but because there's nothing she could do because it was all facts. However, I was able to move on from that. And, again, that was that separation. That was God helping me through that, helping me deal with that hurt, helping me not to carry that hurt, but how to deal
Yeah.
with it and move on. And now that's hers now. Whatever you want to do with
On
that,
you.
done with.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm done with it. So yeah, just making that distinction. Like God ain't out here being messy. It's us. It's us. It's God ain't out here whispering your ear tones, huh? Girl, you better get them. You better get them today. Like like that is not the God I know, right? God is not telling you to choke them out. But I would say God understands. He understands how we feel. But yeah, that's not God. God is not a puppeteer, and he's not orchestrating out every single move and everything. Like we
Right.
have choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Good,
Coach
coach.
Albee, what you got for us?
Well, I say number two, as a part of healing the hurt, I think you got to give yourself permission to step back, to process, and to reclaim your walk with God. I think it's important that we remember God is not limited to an organization.
Yes.
God is bigger than a building. God is not tied to one person, one title, one position. Source, God, universe, abides with
Yes.
all of us. It is the essence of who we are and all that we will ever be. That means your relationship with the divine is not tethered to anything or anyone but you. So you can step back from the system of church, the functioning of church, and you can step back from hurtful people in it and still be okay. Now, I know a lot of leaders who need your money in order to keep the business of church going don't like me talking like this, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. You don't. In fact, stepping back is absolutely necessary to do when you've been hurt. You need
Yes.
time to heal, right? You need time to feel. You need time to work through your emotions. Otherwise, you end up serving with an attitude, serving with anger and hostility in your heart, serving with bitterness, with shame, or with fear or hurt, all of which will obscure your work, all of which will hinder your assignment. It will pollute your purpose, and it will prevent the flow of unconditional love, which is necessary to, when you're going to be in right fellowship with other people. You got to have that flow of unconditional love. And I think, too, it's important to keep in mind that church brain is rampant. Like a lot of these religious organizations, everybody's thinking alike. Everybody kind of has the same mentality. So I would say when you've been hurt, it's important to talk to someone outside of the church. You know what I'm saying? To help you work through what has happened. I think that is wise. Someone you love, someone you trust, and who will be able to give you an unbiased counsel and still provide sacred care for you. Lastly, I would say remember that nothing or no one can stop you from relating to God. This is your walk. God is within you. So if you never step foot in the four walls again, it's okay. Your relationship with God can continue to grow. You can continue to advance. And your ministry, which is simply your capacity to serve other people, that's what ministry is, it can still
Mhm.
prosper too. In in fact, sometimes it takes walking away from the system for your true ministry to flourish. Sometimes we limit ministry
Bye.
sitting in the pew, waiting on someone to pick us,
Mm-hmm.
waiting on someone to say, hey, it's your turn, waiting on somebody to elevate us to a new position. But the reality of it is, if God has called you to do something, that's all the approval that you need. And if people don't like it and if they don't want to get with it, that's okay. But you don't have to limit yourself there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is important to know. And I think sometimes things happen, that don't feel good because it's trying to get you out. It's
Right.
Mm.
I don't know who I'm
Yes.
talking to. I don't know who I'm
Right.
talking to. But sometimes the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, allows things to happen to
Mm-hmm.
get you out
Mm-hmm.
because you're not supposed to be in the four walls. You're supposed to be behind the camera. You're
Right.
supposed to be on the stage. You're supposed to be in Congress. You're supposed to be on the TV screen or in the boardroom or on YouTube. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So don't let church folk put you in a box. You have God on the inside of you. So wherever you go, wherever
Mm-hmm.
your passion takes you, God is there. And your ministry, your calling, your purpose will flourish.
Amazing.
Reclaim.
Absolutely amazing. Amazing. I love it. I love it. And I'll say this, I have to give you a third one. Listen, forgiveness, forgiveness. Now, this forgiveness goes in multiple parts, because first of all, you have to forgive that leader as well as yourself. Okay, so why? Why we got to forgive the leader? Because guess what? They're human just like you. And as I was saying earlier, there are certain families or certain people that just have been Levites, like my family. And if we go biblically, if we study, the Levites were assigned to this. Like, okay, you, Aaron, and your sons, this is what you got to do. Despite what your sons got going on, this is what you do. And the Bible even talks about when, they would go to war, they had to stay at the temple while everybody else went to war because they were the Levites. They were the Levites, but they were still human, still had issues, still had problems. So we have to understand that and we have to give them that space and forgive them as well. But listen, you have to understand that you have the right over your own life, your own space, your own capacity. You have to understand that. So why I say that? Because you don't go to Burger King and be like, I'm Burger King hurt. Because if they mess up your fries, you be like, I'm finna get this straight. Listen, you don't go to Walmart and talk about you Walmart hurt because you finna get it straight. So sometimes spiritually, when you're at a place, you gotta let the people know, we are in church, but you're not going to control me like that. Being spiritual or having the mind of Christ, that does not mean control. And just like you have to stand up for yourself in every other part of life, you have to stand up spiritually because the Bible says, study to show thyself approved. So you got to know within yourself, we ain't having it. So forgive yourself, forgive your leaders, and stand on that. What y'all think about that?
That's
I think
good.
that's good. I have a question for you, Bishop. So
Yes.
I think sometimes there's an air of superiority and perfection that we often associate with church leaders, right? Which makes, I think, sometimes extending grace to them very difficult. We
Hmm.
don't see them as being human oftentimes. And I wonder, do you think there is something that can change on the part of leadership to that end? Or does keeping that air of superiority, I'm above you guys, or I'm above the congregation, does that just help maintain the respect and distance necessary to effectively lead the congregates? Should they do more to humanize themselves, or should they rest in that distance?
Well, I think, honestly, if we want to go biblically, especially if you're talking about y'all King James Bible, y'all know y'all love the King James Bible. But anyway, if you're talking about the King James Bible, and that's, another area right there, since we're talking about church hurt and homosexuality. But anyway, King James. But for some of y'all that got that. If we want to talk about that, we got to understand that there were qualifications given for leaders in the Bible. That's like I tell people, they say, well, preachers shouldn't work. They should take, okay, if a preacher shouldn't work, what should the preacher be doing? Because a lot of people believe that. But you have to give those characteristics of what, was given in the Bible. They were there praying. They stayed on the altar. Whenever there was somebody in need, they were there ministering to their needs. Listen, if there was somebody hungry, they made sure that they had something to eat. If they were widows, they made sure they were taken care of. So a lot of leaders and pastors are looking for that grace, but they're not giving out that work. So
Mm,
you have to be able to give that work to be able to receive that. But I've come to understand that when you truly have a heart for leadership and you understand the direction of the way the word goes, you will understand that the higher your title and the bigger you are, the more you are to serve. And that's what Jesus was saying. He said, hey, if you can't do this, then you have no part of my kingdom. So, I think, being low, being humble, that's your service right there. So
mhm,
I think we have to be humble.
yeah.
Can I say something real quick though?
Yeah, I saw your lips. You like,
Hey, I can go on both sides of the fence on this. And I do want to advocate for leaders
Mhm,
because
mm-hmm,
I have been behind the scenes. And when it comes to church hurt, we always talk about the leaders hurt the the members, but we don't talk about the other way of
yes.
how
mm-hmm,
the members hurt the leaders.
Yeah.
yes,
And
That's
it is
good.
and I know there are pastors out there that expect more or, they're superhuman. Um, but then there are pastors who are just human and they make mistakes, they make wrong choices, but they're human.
Yep.
And the moment that they make a mistake, they are just
Crucified.
nailed to the
Crucified.
cross.
yes.
Nailed to the cross. And my thing is, it's not more their fault, it's more because you are looking at this pastor as God.
Mm-hmm.
he or she has become your God, your savior. And so when they make a mistake, you're like, oh my God, you said something wrong? You hurt me? It's like leaders can't have a bad day. They can't
Right.
be angry, sad. They can't have emotions. You can't get on their nerves. You get on their nerves. You get on their nerves and you get on their children's nerves because I've seen it and I wanted to fight so many members. Jesus. I know my parents were praying. I know that why.
Please don't let her go say nothing to nobody. Please, Lord.
Cause I didn't care and I still don't. But I didn't care and I was ready on site at all times. But it was God. He kept me. But
He kept me.
But yeah, it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that members don't know that leaders have to deal with. People calling you all kinds of the night, expecting
Yes.
the world, expecting you to solve their problems and like it's so much. And then on top of that, they have their own families that they are dealing with,
That's
their
true.
own life. So, it's 2 sides to this. It is 2 sides to this, so I just wanna throw that out there. Go mama, dad. I had your back then.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You had
And
my back
still
too, cause see,
do.
if
And
I
still
had a
do.
part of that, he just talking cause he a preacher. But yeah, thank you, Shanita. Yeah, cause people don't understand. We do get church hurt too. And honestly, Albie, it kind of stimulates something that you said earlier, and I was going to respond, but I didn't write it down. Yes, a lot of church hurt I've seen come from leaders. They give out church hurt because they've been hurt, and
Mm.
kind of like you get in the habit of doing a job, and it's just like you have no love in it no more. And a lot of leaders are like that. They become repetitive. They have a job and they've been hurt by so many people. Well, this person said they wasn't gonna leave the church, and they left, and they hold all of that. And not only that, as leaders, you have to understand, we, especially when we love our people, it's kind of like our spiritual children. Some of them we lose, some of them, won't listen. So it puts you at a place of church hurt. It puts you at a place of church hurt. So a lot of leaders, they give that back out because they've received it. So, yeah, thank you, Shanita, for pointing that out. That was amazing. That was
And
amazing.
Coach, I was going to ask you earlier too, when you were talking about how it's hard for us sometimes to make the distinction between God and those bad players, because you're right, not every leader is a bad player kind of a leader, but for the ones that are, I think those are also the ones who typically allow the cloud, that that superiority complex to get the best of them, and they remove themselves so far from the people that when a mistake happens, it's
Yes.
hard for you to look at that person as human because they've spent their entire ministry making a difference that I'm not like y'all. I think we can be honest about that too. Like that happens a lot of times with leaderships. I have my entourage, I've got these armor bearers, I've got this big fancy chair that I sit in that's so ornate. When I come in, everybody applauds, everyone's supposed to clap, everybody moves when I speak, And so it's hard not to look at that person, especially if you're not equipped with the mental capacity. And I think a lot of leaders feed into that, is my point. There are a lot of
Yes.
leaders
Yes.
that enjoy that, whatever, and they feed off of
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree with you. And I absolutely say that is a dangerous, dangerous place to be for any leaders.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous place when you put yourself at that place because it does not give you room for error when you are human. So it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to be at that place. I oftentimes tell people like, listen, hold on. God gets the glory. Like, don't treat me like that because I'll be responsible for
Yeah.
what you're trying to put on me. So I oftentimes say that. So I think that's
Yeah.
amazing. All right. So we got signs of hurtful leadership in ministry. All right. We want to help you avoid these potential issues in faith walk by giving you some things to look out for in terms of hurtful leaders. All right. Come on, Coach Nita, give us one.
Number 1, the hypocritical leader. How does it go? Do as I say, not
Not
as
as
I
I
do.
do.
Not as I do. Mhm.
Definitely, just from just talking to people, it's like some people they just wanna join a church so much that they don't take the time to just look around. Take the time to look around. Just be quiet,
Come
just
through.
sit
Right.
Sit in the pew. Don't join nothing. Don't get in no clique. Don't
Yeah.
if you just take a couple of Sundays, Wednesdays, or whatever
Right,
day, and just sit in the pew and just look around,
right.
you can save yourself from a whole lot of stuff.
That's true.
Go in there and ask God for that discernment and just look around and you will see. And then
Yes.
show you from the pulpit
Mm.
to the door. You can see. And then and as I say this again, I'm saying we're all human. We're
Yes,
all
yes.
human. However, if you are going in there looking or expecting a specific thing from a leader, you need to observe first before you go and sign your name on that dotted line.
Absolutely.
Look at their
I like
family. Look how they are when they get off the pulpit, how they talk
Whoop,
to the people
whoop,
around them, how they talk to their
whoop.
spouse. That's very important. How they treat their spouse, how they treat their children. Yeah. Look at that right there. How
That's
they
good,
talk to
Coach.
their musicians, people that's I want to say under them, but working
Yeah, I got what you're saying. Yeah.
in ministry. Just listen to how they speak to him, how they correct them if they need correction. And that will give you all you need to know. Ooh, let me say this. I'm gonna say this. Watch how they treat their parents,
Ooh.
especially their elderly parents. Okay.
Girl, you cooking. You was cooking tonight, girl. Goodness.
Mississippi
That's good.
catfish.
Yep.
Leave it right there for those who may be watching. Okay. All right.
That's good.
I like that. I like that. All right, Coach Albee. Go ahead.
So before I go to number two, I just have to say this. I don't know, Coach, I don't know if you remember this. She and I were in a service. This was many, many years ago. There was this prophet, and he had preached, and oh my God, he did a remarkable job. I mean, he preached, and he was one of those type of preachers where he had the microphone and he went outside the church and went around the building and came back from the back, and the church was all. I mean, they were going off, boy. He was preaching hard. Got out that pulpit after service was over. His wife went to go give him a hug and a kiss. And I think she had asked him because she introduced him. And I think she looked at him and said, "Baby, how did I do?" And he said, "Not now. I'm talking to the people." And I thought to myself, now, isn't that something? You got all of that anointing and don't know how to talk to your own wife. That is a problem.
That's a
That is a
problem.
problem. That's a problem. Yeah.
Mhm.
The second thing that we need to be mindful of as far as signs of hurtful leadership are the kind of leaders that cultivate a scarcity mindset. So these are the leaders who convince members that there is only one source of truth, one source of blessings, one source of salvation, and that everything and everything and everyone else is evil or wrong. This is a control tactic that makes people feel afraid to go elsewhere for information or insight. Their goal, like Coach was saying earlier, is to keep you under them, essentially. But healthy leaders know that truth, blessings, and support are as infinite as God is. And you can attain those things through many different resources. You can hear God through a book. You can hear God through other preachers or other, leaders or mentors, whatever, right? Good leaders recognize that they don't want to be the end all be all. They want you to branch out. So they encourage you to seek it wherever it can be found so that your journey is a productive and happy one.
That's right. I like
Scarcity.
it. We have to watch out for the insecure. Oh Lord, I know y'all thinking no people in the pulpit is insecure, but I've seen a few of 'em, just quite a few. They are insecure. They will belittle you. They will talk about you. They will demean you because of their insecurity. And one of the things about it is I've come to understand what causes some of those insecurity is more than likely the people are living as they say, not as they do. So the people are
Mm-hmm.
actually living, and it's so crazy. There was a mother in our church years and years ago. This was when I was growing up. She said they were having this meeting, and they was like, "We're gonna put the pastor out." And she was like, "Well, we done had multiple pastors," and they was like, "Well, no, we're gonna keep the pastor," and they were going back and forth. And this mother stood up. She said, "Listen, well, what's the issue?" They said the pastor doing this, and pastors, he's messing with this woman and all this kind of stuff. She said, "Okay, listen, y'all. This is what we're gonna do." She said, "If the pastor can care enough about me to preach my soul into heaven and he goes straight to hell. She said, I'm good with that. She said, so what are we fussing about? So what she was telling them is we're putting our mindset and our things into the wrong place. This man is human, just like anybody else. But if we follow the direction, whether he chooses to be, what we're supposed to be, long as you get where you're supposed to be in life. And a lot of people they will belittle people, like I said, because they're insecure. They see the greatness in you. You can't speak unless I tell you to speak. And what was you visiting over in that church before? You didn't have my permission to go to that family and friends day. You need to be here at this church. But this is what I never understood. They want you to invite the other family friends to your church, but you can't go to. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the insecure. Those types of things. Yeah, and I'll never forget the other week, because a lot of people know we travel. Melvin and I, we were traveling with some of our team, and we were at this church. And this pastor said, do you not know that the pastor has the ability to say if you live or die?
What?
So, me and my
Sorry.
team, we was like, and this pastor repeated, this pastor has the ability to, whether you live or die, so you got to treat them right. And it is that type of a mind control and those insecurity that has caused hurt. So stay away from those types of leaders. All
Yeah,
right, come
that's
on,
good.
Coach Anita, give us another one.
Yeah, number 4, authoritative leaders, aka go over there and do what I said do. Why haven't you done it yet? You got 10 minutes.
Wait a
See,
minute.
again, that just made me hot, just adding that out.
It didn't make you itch, did it?
Woo!
It just made me hot because who you talking to? Who you talking to? But yes, those they're out there. They're out there. They've got that super confidence. I don't know what it is that they pick up. What they get in those meetings back there, where they come out with this boldness and they speak and talk to you as if you're peasants, as if we're back on
Mm,
the plantation again. I'm
again.
not even gonna put it all on the leaders. See, I'm on both sides because you as a grown person, why you sitting there letting somebody talk to you like that? And you can do it respectfully. I'm sorry, Bishop. Are you having a bad day? Do you need a hug? Is there something else I can help you with? Do you need a break? Because you're not they're not gonna talk to me like that. No, no, no. So yeah, I look at it on both sides because you gotta have some type of backbone. Because if it was somebody at your job, like as Q said, somebody at your job, someone on the street talking to you like that, you ready to knock their head off. But because they got on this robe and this tight, dirty black collar that done
Rust, scone, and stuff.
okay. They got on that collar and that you can't yeah. Okay, let me hush.
That collar be turned around so quickly.
Snatch.
Sir, ma'am, you will not talk to me like that. That's not gonna happen. No, no,
Absolutely,
no.
absolutely, absolutely. And let me just say this to you all because most people know I have my hands in a whole lot of things, and my team works really, really hard with me. And there are times where I can be overloaded with a lot of things. And I have
Mhm.
found myself in places where I will speak harshly. And I'm like, under pressure. And sometimes my team is like, hey, listen, we already know you're under pressure. But then I will say it and I mean it. And then it's like, hold on, hold on, sir. Hold on, you're the bishop. Hold on, you have to lead by example. I have to go back and I say, listen. I was out of control. I need to fix this. Now I could have said this better. I did mean what I said, but I did not have to take that. I did not have to speak to you in that. And I need you to forgive me. And I'm not too big of a leader to do that. I quite often find myself doing it quite often, but I ain't too big of a leader to do it. I will go to and say, hey,
Yeah.
y'all, I was wrong. So I
And
think
I'm
that's a
glad
good
you said that because you do if you're offended as an adult, go to the leader and say, "This hurt me." If you never say anything, how do they know?
Yeah, but
right.
a lot of these leaders don't make themselves approachable too, y'all. Let's be honest. Like a lot of
That's
them,
true.
you
Yeah,
got to go through 5 different
there's
people.
some.
Got to go through 5 different people. And I think the blame, I agree with you, coach. I think the blame is on the people who allow these leaders to talk. I think it's also on the leaders. But can I tell you who else is to blame? These armor bearers, these adjutants who are
Woo!
standing right there who allowed the leader, who listens to the leader talk to people in a kind of way and don't say, hey, listen, I'm here to help you with your luggage, whatever, but I also need to let you know that the way you said that to that person, that was rude. It was nasty. And that wasn't the love of God right there. See, I think everybody needs to step the game up. That's
Everybody.
that's
Yes,
that's my opinion.
absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, Albie, we with you, number 5.
Okay, so number 5 is the leaders that weaponize their position. These leaders use their title to demand respect instead of allowing their life. And I think we talked about this earlier, allowing their life or their work to earn it, right? They will use their position to attack others or to defend really bad behavior. Don't question me. I'm the head deacon of this church. Do as I say. I'm the presiding bishop. I can say it however I want to. The Lord is using me. I'm the prophet. I don't have to be nice about it. I'm such and such, and I set this in order. These titles become license for people just to be mean and to mistreat
Mm-hmm.
others. And these
Yes.
leaders know that no one will question them because we are all programmed not to question leadership. What I
Right.
have personally learned is that a lot of these titles only highlight people's true character. Reality is, you were mean and nasty in real life. So when we gave you that position on the usher board, that's why you treat people like that, like you treat them at the door. You mean and nasty in real life, so the title just brings that out. You are
Right.
controlling and you are manipulative at home with your wife, with your husband. Now you got the office of the pastor and you micromanaging everybody and you got an overbearing spirit. You are aloof, you are unkind, and you are insensitive in real life, and you
Mm,
prophesy the same way with no
wow.
sensitivity, no kind of love. You just say whatever and say it however. You are sexist and you're rude to women, and it shows in how you oversee the women in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
The truth
Mm,
is, I have, and God knows, I'm telling y'all the God honest truth. I have met some of the most compassionate fivefold ministers at the club, in corporate America, on the streets, more than I have in church.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's
That's
true
right.
it.
leaders are careful with other people. True leaders are careful with other people. They don't take advantage of their position or your trust. Most of all, it is their love that comes
Mm,
out to meet you well before you ever learn their title.
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. I like that.
As I said,
Amazing, amazing.
there's no character change.
No character change. No. You just that title and now that character comes out even
Yeah.
more. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then Imma give y'all number 6 now, y'all. Listen, y'all. They use guilt, shame, and fear tactics. I know some of y'all ain't never y'all never experienced it, but they will use those things. Stay away from those leaders that will use those types of things. You know, as Coach Albee was talking about earlier, how they attack and how they say certain things to target certain communities. I'll say that certain communities. And it's always certain communities will go to hell. Certain communities will do this if you don't do it like I said, or if it's not like I said it. First of all, let's talk about this using guilt, shame, and fear tactics. A lot of things is meant for control and order. But a lot of things that we are actually practicing now, a lot of things we don't even know why we're practicing it. For instance, like with Paul, he says, I suffer women not to speak. Okay, what was that meaning? He was talking about in that setting, in that time, and he was talking about the women that were new to it. They shouldn't be talking about what they don't know. But now we just took all of that and now oh, women can't preach. Women can't do that. And then when a woman has something to say, okay, she going to hell. You can't open your mouth. You can't do things like that. So it's using those. Stay away from those that will use those guilt and those fear tactics. And one of the greatest fear tactics in the places that I've been and I've seen is they will curse you, as they say. You know, if you don't do what I'm saying, you're gonna drop dead. You
Mm-hmm.
know, your tongue will get stuck in your mouth. You know, you're gonna be crippled up, you're gonna have a stroke, and one of your eyes gonna fall out, and you're gonna have 3 toes
Wait,
and all that kind
wait,
of stuff.
wait,
But
wait.
honestly, if we talk about it, listen, this guilt and this fear tactic sounds like witchcraft. And we will go in church and we will sit and dance and shout or whatever the case may be under this type of witchcraft where they trying to poke your eye out, turn your 3 toes, and you walking crippled for the rest of your life and can't get
Mhm.
disability because they said you weren't gonna get it.
And the church amen said, Bishop, and the church, the whole congregation, amen, amen.
Amen. Yes. Yes. Listen, I mean, I have seen things that I have absolutely been sick to my stomach. I saw this pastor rebuke this guy, tell him to stand up, and he told him to stand up. He was like, well, he was preaching or something and he was being rude. And he said, all right, well, since said, well, sit down on the floor. Sit down on the floor. And it was one of his adjutants where this man sat down on the floor, Indian style. Man, when he crossed his leg Indian style, I said, it's time for me to go. Cause I just knew can't sit here, no. And the man said, yes, sir, and sat there. They was like, yes, sir, I know you're right. Correction is right. No, that is stupidity. That is not correction.
My goodness.
But they will use those tactics. They will do those, those scare things, to put you in place like that. And I think it's crazy. All right. So y'all know what time it is, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all, we finna call our lady over to the couch while me and Coach Albee sit back and recline, cause it is hot seat time. Come on, Coach Shinita.
Some questions for you.
Coach, my
Okay.
behind is
Give me
still
water.
peeling from the last show. Like, I can't.
Yes. I'm gonna put you guys in different scenarios. Okay, and I want to let you tell me how you will handle yourself or others in that scenario. Okay, and we're talking about things happening in church. Church hurt. So
Okay.
let's go. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. Scenario 1. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back, please. Okay. Your son or daughter comes out to you and your pastor says to condemn them and bring them for prayer to get it out. How would you have responded in the past versus the present? Uncross
Who
your
going
heart
first? Me?
and got mad. So
I don't get
the
hot.
heat come
I
up.
don't get hot. Bishop, you go first.
Okay, you said in the past, how we handled it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the past, I probably would have, been right up there with the oil and I would have been, shaking my head and be like, yeah, okay, Pastor, you're right. We got to get it out because this is what you say. I would have. Now, I would have to ask Pastor a question. What make you think you going to get that spirit out of them when they couldn't get it out of all the rest of the people in the world and all the rest of the people in the Bible and all but what make you so different that you can change the course of history? That would be my question.
I'm Donna Lane's child. Let me just start there. I'm Donna Lane's child, and she was always about that life. She always no, especially because I, as someone who struggled with homosexuality at a very young age,
Mm-hmm.
this particular, I would not have been okay with it then. I'm not okay with it now. And my thing is, if I'm supposed to condemn my child, not the child that came from me, not you, but my child, then let's condemn you for your greed. Let's condemn you for your lust. Let's condemn you for your lying spirit. Let's condemn you for everything that we feel like you've done wrong too. No, that ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna fly. You're
Absolutely.
not gonna subject my child to this as a parent. I'm not gonna allow that. Hell no.
So we ain't throwing hands though. We gonna keep it cute. I'm joking.
Okay, thank you. Oh, save it for the after show because there was so much I wanted to say right there that I didn't say.
Wait a minute, Bishop. What was on?
My babies,
When it comes to the
my
kids,
babies, my kids.
yeah.
My
No,
kids, I like you
no.
miss and like I said, back in the day, it was different because I was in that mindset of, this is the way grandparents did, so it's got to be right. But I tell you, when you find God for yourself, you will look at the people that's speaking ignorant and be like, okay, really? We'll wait for you to catch up. We'll wait for you to catch up. Yeah.
As for me and mine, if anybody who know me, I go hard for my daughter. So you come for her. Next question.
Right, exactly.
This all I'm gonna say. Ooh, you better come with an army. Okay, so I've seen this on social media, so I'm gonna bring it to you, but I'm gonna add a piece to it. Okay. Your spouse is knowingly, well, I'm sorry, you know that your spouse is out having an affair. You are very aware. You didn't catch them, they told you. They told you this is what I'm gonna do, this is how it's gonna go. You as a spouse, fix your face. I can't even get it out.
Because I'm ready to fight. I'm
You
ready to tussle. What's up?
you as a spouse, you feel because of church and how you were taught, I'm not gonna leave this person. I'm gonna actually iron their clothes for when they go out with their extra person. I'm gonna pack their bag and make sure they have all their their things. And so you're getting so tired of this. You're like, this is hurting me, this is destroying me. So you go to your pastor. And your pastor says, this is your husband or wife. You need to stick with them. This is just a hard place. You will get past it. And then they put God's in it. What we doing?
Getting rid of her and him, or him and him, getting rid of both of them. No, we're not doing that.
Even when God said?
No, I have my own relationship with God. What God tell me? See, that's what I'm saying. I have my own relationship with God. I listen to God for myself, and I don't need to filter that through you, Rev. So if God told me to go, I'm going, and that's just the end of that.
But can I say, did God tell you to iron the clothes and pack the bag for him when he go on the...
Listen. That ironing board would be used for some other things, but it won't be for ironing. No, we're not doing that. No.
Bishop Q, did that take you somewhere? Did it put you in a place?
Okay, so see, no, I'm the good. No, cause see, that kind of happened me a little bit of. I don't know if I ever told this story on Love Line, but I'm telling you today. Listen, y'all, my ex, because I'm pastor, bishop, whatever, but I was a part of an organization where I submitted under another leader. And one day we having our little disputes. First of all, the dispute was about her infidelity. She had the nerve to call herself gonna call my leader and tell my leader to chastise me, talk about marriage forever. I told my leader and her they can marry each other forever, but that ain't the way this gonna work. This is my house, sir. At the church, I listen to what you got to say when you be preaching. I say amen. But in my house, as for me in my house, she got to go.
You gotta
So
hit that for yourself.
no, Shinita, I was there. So you make me go back. I was. Whoop.
He done drank all his water out his glass.
I
Nothing
know
left.
I ain't got a bit of water. We gotta find somebody else to do these hot seats because she make it too hot. Can
It's
you
too
cool
hot.
them off?
I'm up here glistening with sweat. I need to cut my AC on. It is hot in here.
I'm
God.
He
itching
had
and
to
stuff.
lay down on the seat and everything.
But I'm gonna tell you, this is kind of triggering because I talk about this in my book. I was in an abusive relationship at one point in time. I went to the pastor and said, "Yo, she hitting, she fighting." The Reverend, he old school country, so you'll get this, Bishop Q. He said to me, "Hit her back." I said, "Sir, do what?" He said, "You should have reared back and hit her back in the face." And I looked at him and said, you do realize I am a man. That's first. You do realize that I wasn't raised that way. That's not who I am. He said, "Well, I would never let my wife, first lady, such and such, do that to me. I hit her back." I said, "I thank you for your time and the time that I've been here. Goodbye to you. Goodbye to your wife. Goodbye to this choir and these associate ministers, and goodbye to my ex." And I left everybody, and I never went back. Nah.
But Miss Sheila said, beat her. Or Miss Sheila said, beat her.
No. Some of us care about our lives and where we are and where we're going to make those kind of hasty decisions. And I ain't doing that. No.
And I never understood something. I mean, you can't truly love and adore something that you abuse to me. I don't think
Right.
like I can't look at you and say I adore you. I think you're beautiful, and then I'm scratching you up, beating up your back. Like it don't make sense. It just don't
Yeah.
make sense. So
Yeah. But pastors and leaders are in churches and have been, because I heard this even growing up, a young boy, you stick with your partner. I mean, I know deacons, chairman of deacon boards, pastors, reverends, everybody who was beating their wife every single day, and everybody knew it. And she stayed. She stood right there by him because that's what the Lord would want her to do. That's what the church taught us. You stick with that man.
absolutely.
Let's talk about hurtful ideology. Your butt beat every single day? Nah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
sounds
I had a
like
friend, her dad was a pastor, and he believed in it so much. He was a bishop. He saw his daughter getting beat. He saw her, and it got to the point where he had broke her jaw or something, and she had to have it wired shut. And you know what he told his daughter? When you heal up, you get out of the hospital, you go back to your husband because that is your husband under covenant. That's where you supposed to be. Keep praying about it until God change.
My daddy would have changed his face and name.
There would have been a great change on that day.
Yeah. And a quick one.
A quick change. A quick
Yeah,
one.
that great.
Yes, but no,
That's
I've heard that too, even from someone very, very close to me in that abusive situation. I spoke to him about it, and he said to me, "You stay there. It would not look right. You are a minister. She is who she is, and it wouldn't look right." She was just upset. She just, you stick. I said, "Y'all is crazy." Because as soon as I hit back, then I'm the one going to jail for
yeah.
many, many years. I gotta go. Y'all, I'm not finna do this. No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I can't take no more, Coach. I can't.
One more.
You got another one, Shinita?
One or two more. And then
Okay.
all right. I was about to say this is a fun one. No, it's not. This
Somebody a church fan. Somebody pass me one of them Martin Luther King Jr. church fans, please.
I know that's right.
you have a pastor coming on to you, offering you gift surprises. They're single. So you start dating this pastor, and now they want sex, even though they preach really hard against premarital sex. How you moving?
What he look like? Is he cute?
Gorgeous.
Well, I mean, okay, sorry. Okay.
Y'all just ain't gonna do right.
cover you. I'll cover you, Rev. Don't worry about it. I got
No,
you.
but be honest. Be honest, though. Be honest. Be honest.
Girl, I am. He getting
That's
it.
why I was like,
You know me. Wait a minute. Is he my pastor?
yes.
And he's single and I'm single? Yeah, I'm down. And he cute? Yeah.
So you're not gonna have the conversation with him about what he's out there preaching. You just gonna go like what?
Yes. I mean, of course. I think that conversation is great to have.
You don't care nothing about it.
That's between you and Jesus. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
You like let them them crazies out there. Let them go with it. But
I know the truth and it set me free.
I'm about to mute you,
Sorry. That's my truth.
Bishop Q.
Well, I guess
Mm-mm.
honestly,
It's
I
not
would
wrong.
ask why.
I already know that this is a safe answer that you about to say.
Because we know the truth. we know the truth.
Y'all don't know the truth. But look, for real, though, y'all, I would ask why they are preaching that. Like, what would be the reason behind it? I would ask them to be
He thick in all the
very
places.
transparent.
She likes all the tricks. She's
So-
learned all the tricks, and she has showed you all the tricks.
I mean, I'm gonna get it. I'm saying, but I still want to know why. See, and the reason why I say that is because some people they feel that they preach a certain thing at a certain level because people's comprehension or understanding is only at a certain level. So I've had colleagues say, "Listen, I don't release this from me because they can't handle it. They can't truly handle what the revelation of God truly says." So I've had leaders that I've conversed with on that level. So I probably would ask, why do you feel like you cannot release this or whatever the case may be? But listen, it is what it is, Shanita. Y'all already know me. Y'all already know. Yeah.
But even if the pastor goes deeper in condemning someone, as we said, like bringing up a girl that's pregnant and bringing her up and humiliating her, knowing.
I mean, if you're dating, okay, all jokes aside, if you're dating someone, you want someone with some integrity. That's first. So if you're going hard about it and you condemning and calling other people out for the very same thing, we may still have sex. Yes, I will admit that part. We will have sex, but maybe, but I can't see anything long term because it's not integral. Like you're not living in integrity. And I kind of want to push back. Like, I wish more leaders would preach the life they are living, about the life they're living versus the one they think is acceptable. Because to me, that's master manipulation 101.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
that's not gonna happen. That's defeating the purpose.
Right. But think about I agree, but you're free. And the person you giving it to is free and life is good, but everyone else is in bondage. To me, as a leader that really cares about people, if I'm free, why would I want you to stay in bondage? That don't make sense to me. I just think
agree.
that, and don't say it's because of the organization. Don't say it's because of this title, because if I've got to be deceitful in order to keep the title or the position, I don't want it.
That's right. That's good. That's good, coach. That's good. And that's why oftentimes I tell people, It's not that I can't. It's not that I don't know how, 'cause I done got some good practice over the years. But it's just that I choose not to because I choose to be in this title. I choose to be of this Levite mindset according to the Bible or whatever the case may be. And, I'm choosing it for right now, but I'm gonna retire soon. But I choose that mindset. Don't mean I ain't forgot. So
So what happens to the people who right now are like struggling? Like people who are at home right now, like they're not having sex and they want to have sex so bad. I'm talking about your scenario. Like let's go through the scenario that let's say you are the pastor that's having sex with the member, and you've got members of your church who are like, man, I wish I could have some sex, but I feel condemned, I feel judged, and they fasting, and you see them coming to church, they are on the floor crying out to God for deliverance and da da da, and you getting it in. Like I mean, you was getting it in. Like I would feel horrible. As a
absolutely.
pastor, I would feel horrible. So I would, if I believe something different, I would tell the people differently and let the chips fall where they may. I would.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this question, but I mean, yeah. Okay. The pastor uses your personal business as a demonstration in front of the whole church. He then or she pulls you up as part of the demonstration. So, in real time, what are you doing?
I'm out. I'm taking my butt. I'm out. I'm not gonna sit there and let you play me to my face. I'm out. And I don't care nothing about trying to keep the order of the service and making you look. I don't care nothing about that. In the words of my late mother, what I care about that a gnat could tote. I'm out. I'm out. No. Mm-mm. And now I can't trust you. Now I do not trust you because I told you this in confidence. Not only are you talking about it, but you're using me in the process of talking about it. You lucky I don't cuss you. Lord, let me, because I done got mad. Off a hypothetical, I done got mad. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Do you feel that you would say something
I would,
towards the mic?
let me grab the mic for a second. I would just leave. Honestly, I would just leave because if I get on that microphone, if I get hooked to that mic, I'm clearing house. Everybody
Oh,
leave. What about you, Bishop?
well, I've had times where I've been in situations where that has happened, and I probably had about 2 rows with me, and we cleared out the whole 2 rows. Let's go, everybody. This way, everybody, come on, scoop, scoop. Excuse me, y'all. We got to get back, cause me and mine, we finna go. We finna go. But I've also, because y'all pray for me, cause y'all just pray for me. I've had times, 'cause like I said, I'm a Levite, so I grew up under leaderships and pastors that was parents and grandparents and all that kind of stuff. So, they really put it on us and really came for us in their sermons and all that kind of stuff. And I'd be like, well, since we at the church, you ain't a family member, you pastor. And right inside, I'd be like, Pastor? Pastor, do you mean that for me? Okay, we want to make sure because we finna turn out the whole service. I've done that. I promise you I have. I have. Because I feel like if you can take the time to do all that, you can take the time to come to me separately. So
That
since
part.
you want to go there, you want to play petty, we gonna play today. I got that from my brother Albie.
Yeah. And see, I'm gonna speak on this one. I in the past, I don't even know what I would do now. But in the past, in the past, I have matched. I match energy. I'm working on it. I have this. Okay, so sometimes God uses me prophetically, right? But I am one. God has to almost pry me out the seat for me to get up and say it. I got that no for sure. But I was sitting in a congregation and this pastor called me out and was like, "You got a word."
You
I did just like that. I was like, no, and then she said my name. "You have a word in your belly." No, I don't.
girl, that's gas.
No, I don't. So then it turned into I was being this and I was being that. And you're gonna have to say the word before you leave. So oh, okay. She was standing there on that pulpit with that mic, and I was sitting in the chair and we was having a stare off. And in my head I said, who gonna get tired first? I said just like this. I don't care nothing about it. I don't care nothing about who was looking. I don't care. You're not gonna make me come up with a word because you thought you heard. No.
If
So
that ain't what I'm
Shanita, you
hearing,
rude too? You rude like me too? Well,
I mean,
I
because the
be.
first time you asked me, and then if I say I don't have a word, move on.
That happens a lot. There's a lot of those bullying tactics that happen in real time, and they know, people with the microphones know, they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to look crazy in front of the crowd. It's like crowd bullying. I can't think of the exact name of it, but it's like using your fear of being embarrassed in the crowd as a tool
Mhm.
to control you in real time.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I've been called a spectator before because I didn't want them to pour an ounce of oil on my head. Said everybody was getting up to get in line. And that's the time I had, everybody was strong on perms and stuff. And I looked and that girl, perm, hair was slick. Her hair was slick back and just oil was just going and she glistening. And I said to myself, hell no.
Mm,
So then I became you spectator sitting here. Well, I'm spectating today because you's not.
that's not what's gonna happen.
You
This
can't
was not.
dab your finger and you're not about to. I mean, it was a
like a
yeah. And that all that hair was just slicked down. I said, you know how many washes y'all gonna have to do to get that oil? And it's on their clothes. Who paying for that?
And
Who
the
paying for
on
sheet.
the
that?
suit.
And I'm
So
telling
you
you
So
now,
know
you're gonna
what?
have to get a bag to put on the seat when you ride with me, cause you ain't gonna have my car looking like I'm coming to America when that family got up and they had them little grease stains on the back. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
I'm sorry.
no,
One thing Benny and Harvey gave me was common sense and
common
how to use
sense.
it.
Yes.
So no,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
put me out, honey, because what I won't do is walk around with no oil slick hair.
Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. All
Hey,
that kind
look,
of stuff.
the next 2 days, your face break out with pimples because of oil. And
Yes.
no, no.
Yes. And they
And
just
you,
shouting and look. I'm like, you ain't felt nothing. You just trying to sling that oil off of you.
yeah, that's all. Yeah. And then they button cause done got in their eyes and it
Yeah.
burning it, so they don't know which way to do with themselves. Don't know which way.
My
But
God.
the thing was, though, none of the leaders got the oil poured on them.
Well, that's never the case. See, that's what I'm saying. Hand the mic to the congregation. Let them prophesy
Let
what
me
they
pour
see
now.
about you. Let them prophesy about what they see in you, because you're not the only prophet in the house. You're not the
Right.
only seer in the house. We see you too. You just have the luxury of having the microphone in your hand. But if we
Right.
ever got a hold to it and did to you what you do to us, your
Mm-hmm.
feelings would be hurt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. I absolutely like that. So listen, y'all, we getting ready to come down to our closing statements. Listen, or either we can say arguments. Cause listen, we letting the church people or a religious group of people, because let us all just say this. Every church is not the same. Every human is not the same. Every denomination. So when we say church people, that don't mean that we're literally talking about your little church that we don't even know about. We're just saying a group of body of people or believers that believe in a certain thing and that hurt and come against people because of beliefs in their walk with Christ. So that's what we're talking about. So listen, with our closing statements, we got to go to our ladies first. Come on, Coach Shinita, give us our closing statement.
Mine is so quick and so precise. A movie that I've seen so many times. Get out.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
No, for real. As I said before, if you're in a place that is not serving you, you do not feel safe, you do not feel seen, you do not feel heard, they're not pointing you towards God. That's all
That's
I got.
That's such a deep word. I mean, it's a simple word, but it's so deep and profound, you know?
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's amazing. Coach Albee, what you got for us? Close it.
So I would just say simply trust in the God in you. Trust in your relationship with God more than you put faith and trust in man or in man-made organizations or in the system of church, because your relationship with God is more than enough. It is actually everything that you need. Of course, it's great to be in fellowship with other people. No man is an island. But to be associated with a thing or with people that is degrading you, demeaning you, demoralizing you, you're better than that. You're better than that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, y'all, you heard that you are absolutely better than that. And with you knowing that you're better than that, I want you to think about this right here. Listen, you deserve better. We've told you that multiple times, but I want you to embrace the hurt that you have already received. And why do I say that? Embrace the hurt, because I've always said that some way to learn not to treat somebody is how you've been treated. So
Mm.
when you take that, you learn how to love on others and don't give out that same hurt. So take those experiences and learn how to love and what not to do when it comes to loving a body of believers or just, a connection. Know how to love people, especially if you're trying to expound upon the word of God or either trying to lead someone inspirationally. Know how to love them and know how to cover them in all its entirety. Listen, y'all, this has been an amazing, 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 amazing topic. Listen, y'all can come anytime and y'all can give us y'all questions. Y'all can give us y'all comments and y'all can ask for those topics that y'all want to hear about. So y'all let us know, write us, email us, or whatever the case may be, and we will talk about those. Listen, this topic right here was amazing because it helped me explain a lot. So we thank Coach Albee for this great, great topic and bringing light to this. Listen, y'all can find us on Spotify as well as YouTube and all of our social media platforms.
That's it.
Social media platforms, whether that be Facebook or TikTok, you can find us. All right, y'all. Until next time, y'all, we got to get out of here and we love y'all. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hey.